Hi guys, happy Saturday morning and welcome to a new reading vlog. I just finished wrapping up my previous reading vlog and I was thinking about what books to read next. I feel like it is just so easy to just start a new fantasy series because it sounds more exciting to learn about new characters, discover a new world, a new magic system. And one of my struggles is continuing fantasy series that I'm currently in the middle of. So in this video, I thought we could try and attempt to continue some series that I had started. Okay, so first let's go over the potential books that I could be reading in this video. I previously mentioned in one of my previous videos that I started reading Princess of Blood by Sarah Hawley. This is the second book in a romantasy with Fae, but I don't think I'm gonna start off with this book. We'll probably read it later in the vlog. But first, I want to read some other books. Okay, so the next choices are we have The Hunting Moon by Susan Dennard. This is the second book in the Luminaries series, which is a YA paranormal story. And then we have Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. This is the third and final book in the Emily Wilde's series. This is more of a cozy adjacent fantasy. And then we have Painted Devils by Margaret Owen. This one is also YA fantasy. Oh, and this is the second book in the Little Thieves series. And then the last potential book is Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. This is the second book in a romantasy with dragons. So I can't decide which of these books that I want to read first. So we're gonna utilize the help of the wheel to choose the book that we're gonna start first. I'm going to spin the wheel and then we are going to see what book gets picked first. So we have a winner. The first book that we're gonna be reading is The Hunting Moon. I'm actually happy because this is pretty short. It's less than 300 pages. So I think we can get through this book pretty quickly. So I'm gonna start reading this book and then I'm gonna come back to give you guys an update. It's now the following Saturday. I didn't read much during the week, but I did make it to page 113 last Sunday. The main character in this book, Winnie Wednesday, she lives in this town called Hemlock Falls, and the people in this town have this kind of purpose to protect the people on the outside world from these creatures and nightmares that comes out from the forest. And then the people are also divided into 7 clans. Each clan corresponds to the day of the week. So you have a Monday clan, Tuesday clan, and so on to Sunday clan. Winnie is from the Wednesday clan, and in the first book, her family were outcast from the clans because her father did something bad and was considered a traitor. So we kind of follow Winnie's journey to get back into the clans. She decided to join these hunter trials because she figured if she passed the trials, then the clans have no choice but to accept her back. And she also reconnects with her childhood friend, Jay Friday, and he trains her and tries to help her a little bit to get through the trials. The second book, I will say, start out really slow. I think I got to about 90 pages before I start to feel the story picking up. Honestly, I felt a little bit underwhelmed. I was very excited to start this book, but it definitely feels a lot more YA than I expected. Well, I'm gonna continue reading today, and as I said, I did feel the story start to pick up a little bit more, so I hope that continues. When I come back with my next update, we'll also spin the wheel again and choose our next book. So I've now read up to page 214 in The Hunting Moon. I would say the story did pick up a lot more since my last update. There's more action and more secrets that our main character Winnie was able to discover, and also there is more development in the relationship between Winnie and Jay. And where I just stopped reading yesterday, we kind of reached like a plot twist kind of situation. So I think the remaining 80 pages is gonna be a really fast read. And as I mentioned, I wanted to choose my next read. So we are going to use the wheel again to choose the book. So we got Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. So we're gonna be reading that after I finish The Hunting Moon. I'm so excited and so happy that I got that book. It's a cozy fantasy, and I think I'm kind of in the mood to read a cozy fantasy next. I have finished reading The Hunting Moon. I would say overall it's a decent book, but I feel like I would enjoy this a lot more, like maybe 10-15 years ago, because the entire series reminds me of that early 2010s YA paranormal books. The characters in this series definitely feel like younger YA. There are a lot of secrets that were revealed in this book, and I predicted one of them. I think it was like kind of obvious. I'm not sure if I'm curious enough to continue with the third book. I guess we'll see, because I'm such a big mood reader, so if I'm feeling nostalgic or if I suddenly have the urge to read this sort of like YA paranormal book, then I might continue with the third book. I guess we'll see. And then I also finished reading Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. I finished this just last night. This is the third book in the Emily Wilde's series, so I can't really say too much about what happens in this book, but in the entire series, we're following Emily. She is the professor of Cambridge. Her study and research is on fairies. So in each book, we kind of follow like her different adventure. The male lead is Wendell. He is also a professor of Cambridge, and they have kind of a bit of an academic rivals dynamic in the beginning, but their relationship evolves throughout the series. Picking up this book and being in this world again, I'm just reminded of how much I enjoy the writing and storytelling. This story is so whimsical and cozy, but not like mundane, like boring cozy. They actually do go on adventures. There's definitely some high stakes, but the way it's written, you still feel at ease even when they're going through like a life and death situation. I also really enjoy the characters. Emily's character is a bit of like quirky, oddball. She's nerdy and quite antisocial, while Wendell is the opposite. I really enjoy their relationship and dynamic just because they're so opposites of each other, but they also understand each other so well. I definitely recommend that you pick up this series if you kind of want to dip your toes into cozy fantasy, but you don't want something like too boring because, as I mentioned, they do go on adventures and there's definitely high stakes. So the last book that I'm going to be reading in this reading vlog is Princess of Blood by Sarah Hawley. This is the second book in a romantasy series called the Shards of Magic series. In the first book, our main character, Kena, she enters into the Fae realm, and in there she's made into a servant for one of the noble houses. The head of the noble house then tasks Kena with assisting her daughter. Her daughter is the heir of the house in this series of trials. Because all the Fae, when they come of age, they have to go through these trials. If they pass and are deemed worthy, then they get immortality and full access to their magic powers. But if they fail, then it could, potentially result in death. While Kena is assisting the heir of the house, she also gets roped into a rebellion. The Fae King is very cruel and evil and are kind of oppressing the people, and that's why some of the Fae are trying to overthrow the king. I absolutely enjoy and love the first book in this series. It is a little bit cliche, but I just love all the characters and I think it's written so well. The world building, plot, tension. I just enjoyed everything about the first book. I'm so excited to continue and start reading the second book today. I have now made it to page 200 in Princess of Blood. I would say like the first book has kind of a clear plot. Our main character, Kena, she is serving the noble Fae and helping her lady in the Fae trials in the first book. But in this one, it doesn't really feel like it has a clear plot line. It's still a good read, but I'm not 100% sure about where the plot is gonna go. And then 200 pages in, I still feel like we're getting acquainted with the characters and the world. Well, getting reacquainted to this world and just getting a deeper understanding of the characters. I'm gonna try to finish this book today, and then I'll come back with my final thoughts tomorrow. I finished reading Princess of Blood last night, so let's kind of wrap up my final thoughts on this book. I mentioned yesterday that I wasn't sure about the plot. What I mean is that I know what the main plot is that we're working towards, but I guess along the way I kind of lost the plot because the story does also focus on other subjects like character development and the friendship. So I guess sometimes I kind of lost the main plot until the story goes back and touch on certain points about the main plot, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember what the plot is now. Even though I feel like sometimes we do veer away from the main plot, I think those are the parts that I actually enjoy about the book, the character development, the friendships, and I also enjoyed the writing in this book. I will say though that I think the story started out strong, but I feel like in the later chapters, I did kind of lose interest a little bit. So overall, I think I preferred the first book over this one. The first book did help my attention the entire time. I finished it, I don't remember, maybe in 2 days. The romance in this book, I had a lot of anticipation because I really enjoyed the build up, and I also have a really soft spot for the male lead. But I did feel like towards the end, it did start to seem a little bit too cliche for me. Like at the end, I still like the romance, but I don't think I was as passionate about it as I was when I first started reading the book. The ending, though, is a bit of a cliffhanger, so I'm definitely gonna continue with the third book. Even though the second book for me wasn't as good as the first, I loved the first book so much, but I still really care for these characters, so I want to see them get their happy ending. Hopefully, they get a happy ending, and I also do want to see some loose ends getting tied up. I don't know if the third book is gonna be the last one, I guess we'll see. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Princess of Blood. We have come to the end of this reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading vlog of me continuing fantasy series that I'm currently in the middle of. I think this was a successful reading vlog for me because I got to finish one series, the Emily Wilde series, and then now I'm caught up and current with the Shots of Magic fantasy series. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.